All right, so recently, disgusting Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace put out an excretion on X where she said she would like to see live streams of the ICE raids and deportation raids that are going on under Donald Trump. And her wish has sort of been granted by Dr. Phil, who is now paywalling or putting behind an app download video of him going on these raids with Tom Homan and monetizing it for clicks and for attention. Now, I want you to remember, Dr. Phil was on my show, and he told me, I'm not really political, I'm not really right-wing, I'm just about families, and I'm about common sense or whatever. And of course, I pointed out to him in that interview, which many of you found incredibly disingenuous of Dr. Phil, that every aspect of everything he says is just dripping with reactionary sort of underpinning. So, okay, Dr. Phil is going on these raids. He puts out a tweet where he says the first arrest in Chicago with Tom Homan was a convicted sex offender and internet predator from Thailand. For full live coverage of the operation, download the Merit TV app. And then we're going to look at the actual video. Here is Dr. Phil interviewing this individual who has been detained by ICE. Check it out.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? Do you have a first and last name?
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
But I've been in the system before.
B&B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charge for it.
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. You look like Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in and process them, lock them up.
Got it, sir.
All right. Can you get a transport vehicle?
Working on it. Okay.
Okay, so this is downright grotesque, and I want to talk about why. Now, I want to be clear as I get into this. I have never argued, they're not allowed to enforce immigration law. If you're here illegally, you can't be deported. No, listen, if you're an undocumented person, you're subject to deportation, that's legal, all of that stuff. What I have argued is that this way of sort of approaching the issue always ignores the reality that both documented and undocumented immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than natural-born Americans, that entire industries depend on immigrants, documented and undocumented. Of course, we have a process for adjudicating all of these things, and it should be done. But this is the dehumanization aspect, the grotesque, turn this into a show sort of thing. So let me start by addressing the obvious. Exploiting human suffering for entertainment and profit is morally bankrupt. These immigration raids, while legal, are trauma-inducing, life-altering events for the people involved. Families are torn apart. People are detained. Lives are upended. And Dr. Phil is inserting himself into the situations not to help anybody, not to advocate for anything, but to create content he can monetize. And it is a blatant exploitation of very vulnerable people where privileged Dr. Phil is turning human pain into spectacle, and that is completely reprehensible. Now, secondly, this is a complete and total misuse of his platform. Dr. Phil has a massive audience, and with that comes responsibility. Instead of using his influence to educate, to inform, or to advocate for meaningful solutions, he chooses to sensationalize and profit from deeply polarizing issues and people at their most vulnerable. Enforcing immigration law is a complex and nuanced topic. It deserves thoughtful discussion. It doesn't really lend itself, or it shouldn't, to TV-style drama designed to generate clicks and ad revenue. And then thirdly, this kind of media stunt normalizes and glorifies ICE raids. By framing them as entertainment, it only further desensitizes the public to the very real harm that they cause and completely shifts focus away from the systemic issues that are at play. Like, for example, the fact that we need comprehensive immigration reform. It just makes it this voyeuristic experience that's going to get us nowhere. It erodes empathy, and it reinforces the idea that the raids are obviously justifiable, but also entertaining or exciting to watch. Finally, we've got to address the power dynamics here, which are really just dripping with disgusting, it's gross. Dr. Phil is a wealthy, privileged individual who is inserting himself into situations where people have no power and no resources. These are often marginalized folks. It doesn't mean that their crimes should be ignored. That's not what I'm saying. But these are marginalized folks who live in fear of deportation, and now, in addition to the legal problem that they're having, they are being used as props in a media circus. So it's hard to think of a more exploitative and dehumanizing situation. Finally, I am not a socialist, you all know that. This is a clear example of how the profit motive can corrupt even the most serious issue. We know that when we see all of the crap around abortion and family planning clinics and all of it. But profit becomes a driving force behind how we engage with a topic like immigration. We completely lose sight of the humanity involved. So this is a completely tasteless stunt by Dr. Phil. It reflects broader societal issues, and even human suffering becomes a commodity. How can we package human suffering, make money off of it, and there we go. So I don't know if this crap is going to continue, but it's deplorable, and I encourage you to reach out to Dr. Phil and to Merit Street Media about it.
People in the audience know that I have never had a cat, and so many of my friends have said, you've got to meet my cat. My cat's awesome. And they're always right, and I end up loving the cat. And that's why I love that one of our sponsors today is Smalls, who make cat food with human-grade ingredients. Smalls uses protein-packed recipes with no preservatives or artificial flavors, using ingredients that you'd find in your own fridge. That's why Cats.com named Smalls the best overall cat food. And Smalls works with the Humane Society. They've donated over $1 million worth of food to help cats, and they even give you a chance to donate at checkout for vaccines, spaying, and neutering. I have a friend who recently switched to Smalls for his cat. I can tell you firsthand, his cat's food smells way better now. And it's because of the human-grade ingredients that Smalls uses. No more weird odor filling the house. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. And the team at Smalls is so confident your cat will love the product that they will refund you if your cat won't eat the food. Head to smalls.com and use promo code PACMAN at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. The link is in the description.